Welcome to Ellen Ruth Soap. I'm Ellen, and today we're going to be making an all-natural, just traditional, amazing soap. I've made this before a couple times. It's my version of an Aleppo soap. I call it a modern Aleppo because it's not a true Aleppo soap. Aleppo soap is laurel berry oil and olive oil, and that's it. And it is amazing is what it is. But I like to add a little coconut oil and kind of bump the lather factor in there. I feel like Aleppo soap is very similar to true Castile soap, which is 100% olive oil. They are fantastic. I mean, really excellent, but they have a low sudsing factor and I like my bubbles. So I've added a little coconut oil and some others. We'll go through the whole recipe today. But here is the laurel berry oil. And this is a very expensive oil. It's a dark color. It has kind of an earthy scent to it. And I'm not going to scent this soap today. A couple of things. Like a Castile soap, you want to let this soap cure for a long time. It's ready to use after a regular cure time. You certainly could. But if you want this to be really hard, really long lasting, I'm going to make this and let it sit over on my shelf for 6 to 9 months. Years is better. And they've found ancient soaps that are like hundreds of years old. It's still good soap, so nothing going on there. And that's one of the reasons why I'm going to leave this unscented. I would either use an essential oil or unscent because it's going to cure for so long. The essential oil, whatever I use, is going to tend to fade out anyway. So why put the expense in the essential oil? All the expense is in this oil. I got this from Be Scented, and they have every once in a while this will go on sale. And even with it not being on sale, it's the best price I've found for laurel berry oil. I've ordered from them several times. It's always consistently good. Love it. I'm going to make a big batch today because I've got a big jar. And since it has to cure so long, when I make it, just dive in and make the big batch because it's going to be sitting for a while. So I'll talk through the whole recipe today. I may use aloe vera solution for the water. I'm still going back and forth on that. I try not to veer too far off the traditional path, but you know, me and my extras, it is hard for me to resist. And somebody did make a comment a couple of Aleppo soaps ago saying, don't use the word Aleppo because it's not a true Aleppo. And I am not trying to hijack the beautiful history of the traditional Aleppo soap. I believe it's got Syrian ancestry. It's quite a process. You can look up on YouTube the original way they make it. It's really cool. A lot of rich history and tradition. I'm not trying to hijack that, but it's such a good soap. I wanted to use this oil. So this is my modern version of it. And so no offense intended. It's out of respect is where I'm coming from, a place of respect and honor. So here it is. That's the oil. And let me get everything pulled together. Again, we'll talk through the recipe as we do this and make my twist, a modern twist on an Aleppo type soap. I did want to mention, if you are enjoying the recipes and all the information I provide on my channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I looked at my analytics and over 52% of my viewers are not subscribed yet. So if you haven't hit that button, do so you don't miss anything going on in the soap studio. All right, we're back and it's time to make the lye solution so that I can get it cooling while we get our oils and everything prepped. And so I am going to do an aloe vera lye solution. And what I like to do is do 50% aloe, 50% water. This is the aloe vera juice I'm using. I get this at Walmart and it's very inexpensive. I'll leave an Amazon link, but Amazon, I think it costs a lot. This is very heavy, and so I would get it at Walmart or a grocery store if you can find it there. So I need 34 ounces total of liquid, or 988 grams. So let me get this measured out, and I'll try and get, you know, as close to a 50-50 split as I can. And here is my water. All right, I'm going to add some sugar in here and dissolve it, which is a lather booster. Sugar makes bubbles in soap, and that's why I add it. So let me grab that. This is a 2 tablespoon scoop. I'm going to add the entire thing in here, and I'm just going to stir it around till it's good and dissolved before we grab the next item. All right, the sugar is pretty well melted, so here is my pinch of Tussa silk fibers. Mulberry silk fibers are great. Corn silk, if you're vegan, that's wonderful. There's a couple other vegan options. I can't think of them off the top of my head. But anyway, Tussa silk is going in here. All right, and now we're going to add our sodium hydroxide, which is, what do we got here? 17.2 ounces or 487 grams of lye. And the water and the aloe that I used were coming out of the refrigerator, so they are refrigerator cool. Get this stirred till it's 100% dissolved, and I'm going to go pop this in an ice bath and get it cooled down again. And after it starts cooling, I'm going to add some sodium lactate, and that just helps me unmold it the next day. It unmolds a little easier at a rate of 1 teaspoon per pound of oils. So if you're adding that, that's how you would figure that out. But I'll add that in after I pop this in the ice bath for a bit. So let me go do that, and we will get to measuring out our oils. All right, we are back, and I'm just going to measure my coconut oil in here and get it melted down before we hit our liquid oils. And so I need 23 ounces or 652 grams of coconut oil. And we've got our coconut oil melted. And now it's time for our laurel berry oil. And let me tell you, this can get, my basement studio is chilly. It's like 59 degrees down here, and this can thicken up, and this is a narrow spout. So just dip it in a bowl of warm water and let it sort of melt up. If you want to pulse it in the microwave, you could do that. But anyway, somehow I suggest warming this up if you're in a cooler climate so that you'll get all of the good oil out of here, and it will pour out easy. So I need 31.5 ounces or 893 grams of laurel berry oil. This is a 32 ounce bottle, but enough gets stuck in the side here, you lose some in translation, and that's why I figured my recipe at 31.5. So let me get this, tear it out and go ahead and pour in the laurel berry oil, and it has such an earthy scent. Let me see if you can see here. Look at that dark color. It's absolutely glorious. It really is. All right, and I got 31.75 ounces, which is fine. It'll just add to the super fat. And I factored this whole recipe as at a 5% super fat. So if that bumps up a little bit, all the better, I think. So no big deal that it's just a smidge over my amount. Close to 32 ounces, but not quite. All right, and now next I need olive oil. I need 34 ounces of olive oil or 964 grams. All right, and my next oil is sunflower oil, and I'm going to do 30 ounces or 850 grams of sunflower oil. And the reason I factored the sunflower is to try and reduce the cost of this because olive oil is so expensive right now. So you could do 100% olive oil for the olive sunflower and just run it through soap calc, make sure your lye stays the same. But I factored in some sunflower. All right, and the last thing I factored in is a bit of castor oil. Again, this is a lather supporting oil, and I need 6 ounces or 170 grams. All right, I had to transfer my oils to a bigger pot because this is going to be a bigger recipe. My mixing pitcher before was a 5 liter. This is a 6 liter, so this will hold it. And here is our cooled off aloe vera lye solution with the sodium lactate added. So I'm going to proceed, not cautiously, but laurel berry oil can go kind of fast for trace. Not super fast, but you know, you don't want to dawdle around with it. It's kind of like pine tar soap. That can go really fast too. I don't know, maybe it's these really dark, luscious oils. But anyway, I'm just going to proceed with caution. We'll watch it go from a brown to a more lighter green color. And I do have my little flower molds off to the side in case this doesn't fit in my mold. It might just be to the brim, but I have a feeling I'll have a little extra, so I always keep an extra mold off to the side. Oh my goodness. This is just such a rich, earthy, the color, the scent. I love it. So last week we did African black soap. This week we're doing Syrian Aleppo soap. We're kind of doing global soap right now, and I am loving it. I'm so here for it. I hope you are too. It is the next day, and look at this. Is just so appealing and gorgeous to me. I'm loving it, and it still smells nice and earthy. I did come in earlier and steam the top, and I'm sorry I didn't film that. It's just I take a clothing steamer. I'll leave a link for my favorite steamer, and you just run it across the top. It didn't have any soda ash, but it was a little dull, and because it's just, I just wanted it to be shiny. I think it adds just a little something special. So we're going to get that out of the mold first, but I did overshoot the size of the recipe, which is fine. I love soap flowers. I love having these by my sink and giving them away as gifts. They're the perfect palm size. These are nice and hard today. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Here, I'll do one of these for you too. There we go. Look at those beautiful flowers. All right, let's get this big boy out of the mold. All right, we are back with the lovely Olga, and I want to talk about, let me scoot her out of the way real quick. This is the inside of this, and this is the outer edge. And can you see the color difference? I put my mold on my heating pad and wrapped a blanket around the outside of it, but I could not put the lid on because the top was so high. I would have smushed it, and it's too cute to smush. So this is called a partial gel, where this part gelled, this part cooled off quicker and maybe didn't go through gel, probably didn't go through gel. But because this is going to have such a long cure time and it's just going to sit over there on the shelves and get better with time, all this color will even out in the end. But I wanted to show you that's what gel versus non-gel looks like. You can see it on the side here a little better. The outer edges didn't build up the heat mass that the middle did. So that's the color you're seeing. All right, let's get in here. There's not going to be, anything fancy going on. There's no colors. There's no anything except just 100% pure goodness. So it was very firm unmolding, but it's still nice and smooth to cut. It's not too hard. And I just think that is beautiful. Nothing else going on except the ingredients in this soap. That is the star of the show. And sometimes simple is glorious. And I did not add clay or oats to this either. I didn't want any texture in there. I just really wanted a smooth, super smooth bar. And we got that. And I think the aloe vera juice really pairs well with the whole theme of this. I'm just so tickled with this recipe. I love it so much. And I'm thinking that even though these need a long cure time, I'm going to wait about a week and we'll come back and do a lather test with one of those soap flowers just so you can see. This is a high liquid oil soap. I will come back. I want to let them sit for, a good week before I do a lather test. The pH after 72 hours will be totally fine and skin safe. Cure time is simply to allow all the liquid extras to evaporate out and make a nice hard bar of soap. And it does, still do a little mellowing, but as far as skin ready pH, so after several days, it's a good balanced pH for your skin, but the cure time has its whole other purpose. So once you go to all the effort of making something this glorious, you want it to last. You don't want it to just melt down the sink immediately. So a good long cure time for these is highly recommended. All right, here is our middle loaf, and it doesn't have as much because, of course, being in the center, this got the most heat mass, or the most evenly distributed heat mass. So most of the center loaf went through gel phase, no problem. Again, it's smooth, cuts like butter. Just so good. Well, I am really enjoying our little trip around the globe with our African black soap last week, the Aleppo soap this week. I don't have it on the schedule, but I probably should have scheduled making a Castile soap, which is, I think it has French origins. The original Castile soap is from France. Or a Bastille soap, which is a Castile soap with some other ingredients. It's I hate to use the word, but a bastardized version of a Castile soap. But some people prefer the Bastille soap because, again, you can put a little coconut oil or a little castor in there and help those lather bubbles along. But I'm not going to make a Castile soap right now. It's really not on my schedule. But if you wanted to go full international, you could round it out and do a Castile soap after this and have your global appreciation soaps, which I think would be wonderful. So these are very firm, but I am going to wait. They're a little tacky on the center where they're fresh cut. So I'll wait, a day, a couple hours to a couple days to come in and do my beveling and stamping. And then again, like I said, I will do a lather test after about a week. We'll come back and I'll do the outro and all of that. So we'll see ya when it's time to lather these babies up. All right, I have a minor change in plans here. I am going to still wait a day or two to come in and stamp, but I did this with my black soap and I did it off camera and I figured I'd bring you along. I'm going to go ahead and take my really high-tech vegetable peeler and trim my soaps down right now. And I'll show you how I make a little soap ball out of the soap shavings. I do have a donation box for Eco Soap Bank, which I love donating to them. But you can do other things with soap shavings too, like rebatch soap or make a little soap flower or a soap ball. So I'm going to show you how I do that. So I just like to go around all the edges with my beveler. I'm not real specific. You can get really cool beveled edge machines and stuff, but for me, I think this gets the job done beautifully. I like having smooth edges on my bars. I feel like they're more comfortable in your hand when you first go into lather. It makes a little rounded edge. I think it looks appealing and it's more, it's just user friendly. I think it's comfortable to use. Here we are with our little bucket of shreds, and this is what I'm going to end up doing is I have this, it's a little mooncake press, and it comes with different inserts for designs. I just have a pretty swirly one in there, and I will use some cling wrap to line this because the soap is sticky and it would get all caught up in the little details and stick in there. Ask me how I know. So I'm going to do that, but first I will show you how to just make a simple little ball. And all I have to do, these are so fresh and so squeezable, I'm just going to dampen my hands down a little bit before I do this. It really helps everything cling together. All right. literally just dripping wet, not like soaking wet. And you don't need to wet these because, again, they are very squishy and workable. And you could actually even just make a soap dough out of this if you wanted and use it for a project. You could use a fancier soap mold that I'm using, the Moon Press. If you had a little flower mold or some such thing, you can get really creative. All right, I think I picked up all my shreds. So let me get this out of the way. All you do if you wanted a little ball, and I used to do these when I first started making soaps, I would just, all of my soaps that I shaved, I would make balls, and I had a big candy jar at the farmers markets filled with little soap balls, and they were like 50 cents or $1 a piece, and people could just come by and pick them. Okay, there is a soap ball. Perfect. Set it on the curing rack, let it harden up. Children love this. It's palm size, travel size. It's absolutely perfection. You know, no problem there. But I'm going to go a step further now and turn this ball into a pretty little pressed cookie type press. That's one. So just pick it up in its cellophane here, plop it in, and I'm going to sort of hand press it out a little, and then I'll flip over the cellophane so I can press it, and that way it won't get stuck in the grooves or anything. There we go. All right, and then just press with your body weight. Okay. And pull it out gently. And there you can see the pattern really well. And if you just peel back the cellophane very gently, it will keep the pattern in there. And look at that beautiful soap. Now that's going to go on the curing rack. I just think it's so pretty. So that is one way to recycle your soap shavings. All right, you guys, it's been a week since we made this soap, and carrying my bowl over here, I dropped the bar in. That's why it's wet, but I wanted to show you how cute the little pressed soap scraps soap is coming out. It's nice and hard, and this will cure with the rest of them, but what a cute little guest soap. All right, let's get into the lather test here, the important part. And yeah, I was carrying this over and dropped the bar of soap in, so it's nice and glossy. And look at that gorgeous color, by the way. Isn't that just scrumptious? There's just something about these that I find so appealing. The recipe, the lather that you're going to see here, everything. Just, I find it really appealing. I love the history behind the original Aleppo. So look at this lather, you guys. It's absolutely luscious. I mean, right away, big, abundant lather. It's gorgeous. It's got a little bit of an earthy tinge to it because of the Laurel Berry oil is a very dark oil, and I think it's gorgeous. This lather is amazing. All right, so if you didn't want to wait 6 months, you could use this after a regular cure time of, 4 to 6 weeks or about there. And I did a steep, a semi-steep water discount in here, but yeah, it's gorgeous. This lather is amazing, and it's only going to get better. That's the other part. This is only just going to improve with time, which I love. If you watched a video I did recently, I lathered up a 20-year-old bar of soap I had made, and it was fantastic. I believe soap just gets better with time. So I love this formula. I hope you give Aleppo soap a try and modify it a little if you want. Regular Aleppo soap lather is gorgeous too, but come on, you cannot beat this lather. This would make a luscious shaving bar. This lather is so slippy and gorgeous. So I hope you give the recipe a try, and I hope you have a wonderful day.